Over the years of doing synth videos on YouTube, there's a bunch of things that I've either bought myself or been sent that I haven't made a dedicated video on. Some of the things haven't even showed up here on the channel. And there's often a reason why. So in today's video I thought we'd take a look at some of the synths that I have around but haven't reviewed, and if you stick around till the end you'll see what is probably the closest thing to me ranting about a product that I didn't really like. It's a product or a group of products that I think fell short of what was promised. So stick around till the end if you want to see me rant about that. Today's synth exploration is sponsored by Skillshare, and the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership, so you can explore your creativity. For the first synth in today's video, we need a bunch of batteries, rechargeable of course, and this beauty here. This is the Jupiter-XM from Roland. When it came out, I did a little Patreon video on it, just showing off some sounds. But I had so much to do with MC101 and 707, which I thought were really cool and interesting products. So yeah, I didn't have the time to look into this that much, which is yeah, a little bit of a shame because there's a lot to like here. But I will say that I also have a little bit of a hate-love relationship to this synthesizer. Let me get into that in a little while. Now the first really cool thing that I think speaks for this synth is of course that it's portable. So now here you can see it's battery powered. You have a set of speakers, I think over here, and you have a bunch of I/O on the back here. You can plug in a microphone, you got a vocoder, and the build quality is actually among the best that I've felt. And actually the mini keys, while we can joke about the mini keys, they're actually really, really good. Also, the sound quality of the speakers is usable. So you have a bunch of voices, I think it's 256 voices, it's their new Zencore architecture. You have different models, so you have Jupiter, Juno and so on. You also have a piano module, you also have the old XV module sounds. So you have a ton of classic sounds in this small compact form factor. You do have a lot of sound shaping tools here. You can combine a lot of different sounds together and create big, really impressive sounds. But I really don't like the menu system. I think that overall it's what you'd expect from workstation type synths, where a lot of the functionality is there, but it's just a little hard to get to and it's a little annoying to program. I don't feel that it's very quick and intuitive. Yeah, this is of course not like an in-depth review of it. So I actually do think it sounds gorgeous. I think it's built really well. I think there's a ton of interesting functionality here. It has Bluetooth, it has the mic input. It's a really interesting like stage synth, I guess. And it also has audio over USB, so I think you can get individual channels into your DAW, and yeah, it sounds gorgeous. but I just can't get over the menu system. That's the biggest drawback for me. I don't really like that kind of menu diving in a synth. So that's pretty much the reason why I haven't done like a dedicated full review. It's just not a really good fit for me, but it could be for you. I mean, let me know in the comments what you think. Now my next pick is from a company that you might remember from last year's Best Synth Gifts video. I actually showcased this synth here in that video, not a full review or anything. It's the Polyphonic Whale, and it's actually a really interesting meditative little synth. And from the same company I was sent this synth here, the Gekko. So it's the Gekko loop synth, it's the version 2. Which has a lot of interesting improvements over version 1. I actually did a video on version 1 a while back, but I just haven't had the time to check out version number 2. One of the biggest improvements being that you now have a little MIDI dongle, so you can actually use the loop synth with an external keyboard somehow. I haven't tried it out. So this is what it looks like. Still this beautiful, I think it's larger than version 1, but still the nice little wooden box here. So this is what it looks like. And the point with all of these synths, the Polyphonic Whale, the Gekko, and I think they have some upcoming synths as well, is that they basically take sound from the world around you and process it in various fun ways. So there's a lot of different patches here on this device. They all do very different things, from reverbs to delays to weird effects. And here I have one which is actually the MI Clouds. So this is just one of those small fun synths that you either love or you don't see any reason whatsoever to pick up. So this was exciting. I could freeze the sound that I made, little whistle sound, and then freeze it and play it from the MIDI keyboard. That's kind of cool. So there's no big dramatic reason why I haven't reviewed it. It's kind of a cool synth and worth checking out. So I'll put some links to it in the description. Next up, let's talk about a synth that I've had around for a long time but never showed here on the channel. It's the synth that I spent all my YouTube millions on, instead of buying that YouTube Lambo. It's of course the Moog 1. Let me grab it, I have it here. Yeah, still no Moog 1 here. Need to get some more of those AdSense before that happens. But yeah, let's move on. Next up we have, well, technically not a synth, but you could definitely use it as such if you want to. It's the MicroGranny from Bastl. Now, this one I really like. It's actually a really cool little sample player. What's also cool is that there's a microphone so you can sample into it. And you also have 6 sample slots.
Freedom.
But you could also hook up a MIDI keyboard and play a sound chromatically if you wanted to.
Freedom. Hertz. Freedom. Hertz.
So the MicroGranny is actually a really fun little granular sampler. It's battery powered. You can also power it here from the back. And yeah, it's just good fun. So why haven't I reviewed it? Why ain't I using it more? Well, I'd say the main reason is simply that you need to convert samples. I don't really like that a lot. I prefer it when you can just drag and drop whatever samples you want. I know it's like, I feel so it feels so petty to say that, but to me that's a big thing. I mean, at the end of the day, you want things to work for you, not against you. And the fact that you needed to convert samples did take away from the fun for me with the MicroGranny. I mean, all of this is of course just a matter of putting in the effort and learning it. As with many things, I think when it comes to instruments, it's not so much about the instruments, it's more about how you gel with the instrument. So overall, I think that the MicroGranny is interesting. You should check it out if you want a cool portable granular sampler. The microphone on it makes it quite interesting, I think, for some use cases. Now let's move on to the next little thing. Now, when you test a lot of synths, like I do, a lot of instruments, and you try and be personal about it, try and have a personal touch, try and show your emotions, try and show how you feel about things, sometimes you come across pieces of equipment that just doesn't suit you very well. And I think that's a bit of a theme in today's video, that sometimes I struggle in showing off an instrument when it doesn't speak to me personally, when I don't want to rely on just going over the features. I want to have some kind of personal touch, some reason why I'm excited about it, really. This is why I don't really showcase that much, which isn't interesting to me, because I don't want to spend the time on it if it's not, if it's not really evoking emotion. So here's a synth, the Medusa, which I have shown in a few videos just a little bit, and there's a lot I like here. I think it's a very original design. I think it's a very interesting synth. I think it will go down in history as being kind of quirky and unique. There's also a lot of things that doesn't agree with me. I think the workflow is a little wonky with this whole grid here. But instead of hearing me talk about it, I want to give space to somebody who does this synth justice. So here's a few clips from somebody who can do something truly musical with the Medusa. And I'll link the channel down in the description so you can go and check it out. Now, another theme in today's video are synths or gadgets that capture the world around you. And here we have another one that I haven't reviewed, I haven't showed on the channel, but I think it's actually quite cool. By the way, if you want to see a video with me walking around, capturing sounds in the real world, turning it into something that sounds musical, let me know. Hit the like button, let me know in the comments if you want to see that kind of video, because I do have a lot of different synths and gadgets that can capture sounds from the world around you. So let me know about that one. So here we have the Soma laboratory, the people who makes the Pulsar 23 that you see in the background, the Lyra 8. This is Ether, which is a really cool little gadget. It's not very pricey. It doesn't look, it doesn't look that impressive. Little black plasticky box. So basically it picks up on signals, I guess electromagnetic signals, I don't know, like do I look like an engineer to you? But yeah, it picks up on signals from electric things around you and turns it into, well, it makes it audible. So yeah, pretty cool little device, very fun. So hit the like button, let me know if you want to see a video where I use devices like this to capture sounds and make something fun and creative out of it. Next up is a product that I think fell short of what was promised. And I will also talk a little bit about why, what we can learn from it, and why I think it was a sort of a bad product. But before that, here's a word from today's sponsor. Let's talk a bit about today's sponsor, Skillshare, because my channel is a lot about learning, and if you want to learn new things, head over to Skillshare. They have classes in music production, mixing, mastering, but also other creative endeavors, photo, video, drawing, and more. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get 2 months free trial premium membership so you can explore your creativity. And if I could suggest one class to take, that would be this one by a young guru. In it, you will learn how to mix. He's actually a really good producer, mix engineer, and it's worth checking out, especially if you're a beginner wanting to learn the basics of mixing. And recently a viewer of mine alerted me to this course about how to compose ambient music, and he actually thought it was really good, so I just wanted to let you know that it's out there on Skillshare, so go and check it out with my link in the description. This here is the Patchbox Mini Jam Studio. It was actually a Kickstarter that I supported, and I showed some pre-production units here on the channel. I still think that I have them here in the box. And as you'll see, I even think that pre-production units looks better than the finished ones. So just a couple of words here. Why didn't I like them? Well, just to break it down very simply, if we have a scale from 1 to 10 and 5 is usable and 10 is a great instrument and 1 is unusable, I guess, I'd say that in its totality, this set of small synths, 3, if I'm generous, maybe a 4. Like, I don't want to be too hard on these things because they're super affordable. So what did you actually get for the money? Well, you got a couple of really cool ideas, and some were better executed than others. And yeah, this is what you got. You got these 4 battery powered units here, as well as a speaker. So in terms of like value for your money, you actually got quite a lot. So we have the tech drum, we have the tech waves, a little wavetable, I think, wavetable based synthesizer, a tech filter, and the hub, which is like a mixer, and it's also a little recorder, so you can record onto a micro SD card. So what's the big problem? Well, first up, if we compare it here between the pre-production unit and the finished one, I actually much like not so much the plastic on the pre-production, but the color, the black color, compared to the transparent one. The transparent one makes them look cheap, and the plastic itself is really mushy. You can see here on the camera. This also makes the programming experience a little bit more annoying, especially on the tech waves, which is quite the complicated little synth. I will be honest and say that I didn't get along with it. Just didn't work for me. The tech drum, however, is actually pretty usable, so it's a great idea. It sounds okay. Here's a little demo of it. And then we have the highlight, which is the filter. So this is actually an analog filter. So that's really cool. And it's actually sounding pretty cool as well. So you have bandpass, you have low pass mode, and you have frequency and resonance control, and it sounds pretty good. I've used it in a few videos. I wish that they'd made like a little bit more of a higher quality version that they could sell standalone. That would have been pretty cool. The hub itself was a really cool idea. You had the little mixer, you had a headphones output, really tied the setup together. You could record onto it, and for me the recordings were sometimes a bit glitchy and there were some issues with that. I'm not sure if they ever fixed it 100%. And you could also clock things, so set the BPM here from it and clock the other units. But I think that the overall problem is that you get what you pay for, and with the price tag being so low, the overall fit and finished or build quality of this unit is just, look here, it's like, it just doesn't feel very good. It's not fun to hold in your hand. It's not fun to play with. It makes a Volca feel sturdy. I mean, these just fell off randomly for me and were hard to get back on. No, not that hard. Well, yeah, a little hard to get back on. And I think that in the pursuit of delivering something affordable, there were too many corners cut. And I think that the whole idea was super appealing, and this was the reason I supported the Kickstarter. But looking back, I've really learned something valuable. You can't get everything for that low amount of money. You have to realize that everything comes at a cost, and paying like below 200 euros for this entire set is just crazy. I mean, drum machine, synth, filter, mixer, speaker for under 200 bucks. Of course there's gonna be corners cut. And unfortunately I think that they should have made it around 400 euros or something like that and simply up the build quality, spent a little bit more time on designing the synth so it was more usable, more user-friendly. And I think if they had done that, I think that this would have been a product line that would have lasted. And I think it says something important about the synth space. You don't want to cut too many corners because people will stick with their synths for quite a long time and they want them to last, they want them to hold up for a long time. And yeah, I think that if they had just spent a bit more money on the build quality of these synths, making sure that the user experience was a little bit better, I think that this would have been a product line that could have stuck with us for a long time. Now, I have no idea why these synths aren't around any longer, if it wasn't profitable making them, if there wasn't enough demand, but yeah, the filter gets my recommendation still. I think I used it in one video and I praised it, and I still do. I think it's a super cool little idea, just having it super cheap. Okay, so yeah, the drum machine here, the drum machine is actually quite a lot of fun. So I think like the tech filter and the drum machine, yeah, maybe I'm a little hard on these small gadgets, but yeah, overall, I think that the drum machine and the tech filter here together is a lot of fun. I'm not so sure about the hub, and definitely not a fan of the waves here. So yeah, maybe this fell short of being the rant that I promised. But yeah, I can't help myself for being a little bit diplomatic and yeah, seeing things for what they are. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend these products today. But if you happen to stumble upon the tech drum and you want something flimsy plastic but good fun just making some beats on, maybe the filter, yeah, not a totally bad idea. Just don't expect it to be like Volca level build quality or anything. But so out of all the things that I've showed in this video, is there anything that you'd like me to do a dedicated video on? Let me know in the comment section. And as always, thank you for being here. Hope you have a pleasant summer. I'm gonna head out now for some vacation. I'll probably be back in a month or so. So talk to you later.